everyone, and welcome to episode 36 of Lines on a Page. Please let me know if you can't hear me. I am trying to do everything regarding, uh, the microphone hole situation. Decided to bust out my headphones to see if possibly that might work. So we shall see. Again, please let me know if you're not going to be able to hear anything at all. That being said, welcome. Episode 36. We are going to be understanding the concepts and ideas of doing gesture drawings and how that will help you. And before I begin with all of that, we are going to do some quick housekeeping stuff. Haven Comics, located 1871 Slaughter Road in Madison, Alabama. And please remember to like and subscribe. That helps us out immensely, especially myself. In which case, if you want to like and subscribe stuff that I just happen to be at, you can either find this handle at tpriceartworks, or you can actually go to my link tree, which will have everything listed on there. So you can find me everywhere on social media, including some offshoot stuff like Patreon. Which, before I think about anything else, let's get to comics. Hey, David. Thank you. I happen to like this shirt too, and I haven't worn it in a while. And I decided to go through all my stuff, and it's just like, hey, haven't seen this thing in a couple of months. So glad to have busted that one out. Okay, so last week's video, unfortunately kind of got cut short simply because phone was about to die on me, but I did finish inking the cover from last week, which I'm going to show you guys right now. So here it is in all of its ugliness. But yeah, I am going to be doing two different posts regarding this. One on social media, in which it will be watermarked so that everyone can see it, and then the not watermarked high-res version is going to be on my Patreon. Which, speaking of that, there's going to be some sample pages for a fantasy comic and storyline that's been very near and dear to my heart, which I will be uploading some stuff to that as well, which those would be the seeds for a very possible Kickstarter comic, which if I can get all my ducks in a row, you guys will definitely know about it, and I'm hoping that it will be nice. All right, so gesture drawings. Oddly enough, I actually had a really good question regarding this. I believe it was Friday. Today's been a very long day. It's been a very hard day mentally, so I'm making it. It was Bill Fisher's daughter who was asking me about this, because apparently she does a lot of art at school, and when she was asking about gesture drawing, she was asking if it was the same thing as basically drawing from life or using a life model. And while there could be a similarity between the two, it's actually two different camps of thought. And personally, I like them being separated, even though there are some similarities. The thing with the life model situation is that usually those things typically are timed. And what I mean by timed is that usually they will give whoever is doing the model time to switch up their pose that they've been stuck in for 5-10 minutes. And of course, when you've got a bunch of people sitting around in a semicircle, basically, you've got several different points of view, several different styles of drawing, and so on and so forth. So that's a completely different thing, and we're not actually going to be doing that. So with gesture drawings is basically while we are taking things that we're happy to be drawing from, whether it is from life or from comics. Since I just happen to have three different comics right next to me as my examples for whatever that we're doing today, just figure it'd be easier to do it from that. Hey, Bill, thank you. I just was talking about the conversation between me, you, and your daughter on Friday. So, with all that being said, we are going to get straight into it. Now, it does not matter what it is that you're using as long as you have something that's going to make a mark somewhere. So, if you just happen to have a number 2 pencil and a piece of paper, that works. If you happen to have a marker and a sketch pad, that works. Today, I just happen to have my stylus and Clip Studio on. So here we are. Now, the thing with gesture drawings that kind of gets into an interesting situation is that you don't have to make them detailed. And that might be a hard concept for some people. I hope not. But one day I will get this correct with the placement. Anyways, sorry, random tangent. But basically, the concepts and ideas regarding gesture drawings is that it's basically scribbles. It's about understanding the form. It's about if we want to use a very 90s comic term, the energy of whatever it is that you're trying to do. So that being said, we're definitely going to get straight into it. And now, something as far as just when we're dealing with, I guess, other comic artists or people that just really like to draw comic art as a hobby, or you're actually trying to push into this as a profession, we do get art block. It does happen. There are just some days mentally where we just can't even fathom picking up a pencil or just trying to do stuff, or just stuff isn't working the way that we want it to. Which I always do recommend taking time to go outside and going on nature trails. That's definitely helped me. And also doing other things as well, just to keep my mind off of whatever it is before coming back to it. And usually that helps my brain, just go, and I'm able to do whatever it is that I need to do. Working out is also a good one as well, because health is important. Not just physical health, but also mental health as well. So, PSA aside, as far as just comic artists and trying to do this stuff, I definitely recommend picking out 3 completely different artists that are completely different from each other. In which case, today I do have 3 different things I'm going to be using as examples for doing the gestures. As I just quickly showed, I do happen to have a Wildcats comic with Travis Charest with his interiors. I also happen to have Daniel Warren Johnson do a power bomb, which, if you guys have never read this before, even if you don't like wrestling, but you just like, if you like sports movies with heart, this is definitely going to be in that alley. Of course, it is pro wrestling, but there's a lot of twists and turns. It's got a lot of heart. And of course, this is also the same guy who won an Eisner, who's going to be doing the new Transformers comic. So if you just happen to be a fan of Transformers, come October, you will not be disappointed. I have already seen several of the pages already. I cannot say what's going on in them. So no spoilers. And of course, on the completely different side of the world, I do happen to have a manga Ami, and this is one of my favorite ones with the last couple of years, Record of Lodoss War, and the artist is Akihiro Yamada, and his style is actually very similar to, I would say there's definitely some Dan Panosian, John Bashima, Conan era stuff as far as his his line work. So 3 completely different ways of doing it. And I like to challenge other comic artists to do 3 completely different people to learn from when gesture drawings. Don't stick them with just one particular person, because then you're just going to be stuck in that forever. Even if you're just a person that likes doing like very, very cartoony stuff, like, Calvin and Hobbes, Garfield, maybe even a Scotty Young sort of thing, branch outside of it. Look at other people. Look at other painters, even. Uh, if you want something to try and learn from, um, look at, Renoir. Definitely look at Monet. Definitely look at, who was I thinking of? Frank Frazetta. Uh, you can learn a lot. So, that being said, we're going to get into some gestures. Now, I picked out this issue of Wildcats 26 just because there's a lot of really cool movements and stances and stuff like that. It's mostly focused on Spartan, but regardless, we're just going to get straight into it. So if you happen to have your pencils and markers at the ready, let's go for it. So, uh, like I said earlier, with the gestures, it's very much like we're just scribbling almost. And it's just to get the idea of the concepts of, um, excuse me, just getting the idea and the concepts of, a body, so we can understand uh, how the body is kind of just holding in and of itself. Another great way, as far as just drawing, even if there isn't a place where you have like live model classes, just going to a public place, whether it's a coffee shop or uh, a mall, um, library, any place that you can sit down and pull out sketchpad and draw. Definitely recommend. Now, like I said, it's definitely one of those things where you don't want to spend too much time focusing on just one thing, or else it's just, you're going to lose, that steam. And in some ways, it's very much an exercise in form. Um, in this case, we've got another pose of Spartan, basically just kind of flying in the air. Could be looked at as almost like a Superman pose. And it is a very advanced way of trying to do this. But again, gets back to the whole point of learning. Now, the other thing that you also need to realize is that when doing this, it's not about being perfect. It really isn't. It's about being present in the moment and just doing it. I know that's a very Nike slogan way of doing it, but that really is exactly that. Um, So I am basically just kind of flipping through the pages to see what's going to pop out and say, aha, this be good. All right, so here's another one. Very Superman-ish pose. Probably extend that out just a bit more. Didn't even think about that. But it's definitely doing stuff like this that could just kind of get you into the rhythm. It gets you to think about, you know, all the extra stuff that um, you wouldn't normally think of. And of course, it doesn't even have to be, human figures all the time. You can be drawing wildlife. And again, there's plenty of stuff that you can learn from as far as how to draw. He's got the rhythm. He's got the music. You know, you put that down. The first thing that pops in my head is the beginning of the Touch by Stan Bush. You got the touch. Anyways, thank you so much for that, Tots. But just even drawing animals, even something as cartoony as like drawing Baloo to something that you're actually trying to learn from with pictures of like bears from like National Geographic or the Smithsonian or uh, stock photos that you might have found through a Google search. Uh, Great ways of learning by doing it through gesture practice. Get you the idea and think about the building blocks, as getting to think about the forms, getting you to think about putting this stuff together. Kind of accidentally ran out of space. That's all right. Yeah, it's definitely one of these things where you continue on doing it. You'll definitely start to learn how to, piece things together for whatever sketches that you just happen to be doing. Either uh, book that you're working on, or commission piece, or uh, maybe it's just something you just want to do in your free time. All right, so we've got this thing with Spartan Voodoo. I'll extend that just a bit. Continuing on, let's see what else I can find. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about these Dave Johnson panels that just happen to be added into this story. Uh, okay, yeah. So here's one with Lady Tron. It's from a sort of a back view. I think I'll do another one involving with either her or Savant. I'm absolutely surprised I even remember all the names of all these characters. Now, like I said, it doesn't really have to be humans. It even doesn't even have to be animals. Something as simple as uh, hand gestures. It's definitely somebody you can do stuff like this with. Definitely finds an artist that you absolutely like how they draw and do the gestures with hands, which I would say is just as important as trying to find an artist that actually knows how to draw facial expressions and also one that knows how to draw feet. You know, I do too. Here's one for you. All right. So let's see. Within the 10 minutes that I've been doing this, I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different gesture drawings already. 10 minutes. I mean, that's 10 minutes that, normally someone would just rather, be scrolling through to find what nonsense to look at social media or whatever. So there's no excuses for any person that says, well, I don't know what to draw. Do this. Now you do. All right. So we're going to move to another blank page. Yeah, I was thinking we're all on the same wavelength here. Bunch of children. All right. So I'm going to look through Do a Power Bomb. That perfect example is right here on the cover. Ta-da. So let's draw that. Let's get into that. No, no, it wasn't. We all know. We all know it wasn't that. So I don't think this really gets said enough, and I hate the fact that it's taken me so many years to try to get people to read or understand what it is that I like about Daniel Warren Johnson. And it's because he does, uh, you know, force perspective, great gestures, um, even if it isn't, the normal stuff that you would normally read. Well, first off, you're missing out. um, but secondly, um, he definitely puts everyone on their toes within the art community, because you can learn so much. I mean, just from this cover alone, now that I'm thinking about it and looking at it, and I hate to sound like an absolute fangirl uh, for Daniel Warren Johnson, but like, if you just look at this cover alone, there are so many different things going on with the people in the audience. I mean, even though it looks quite cartoony, I mean, there's a lot. And there's also way too many artists who would make shortcuts into not doing the same kind of level that he puts out. I mean, the fact that he even interjected himself right up there in the cover, is awesome. And of course, there's also other Easter eggs in here regarding a couple of other books that he's done, like Murder Falcon, Space Mullets. I think there's a Beta Ray Bill reference on this one too. I don't remember. Anyways, let's see what else. All right, here we go. All right. So I mean, a couple pages in that, let's look at manga. Uh, do stuff regarding this as well. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good example right here. We've got a guy basically just kind of in a reclining pose. see, what else can I pick? Let's see if we can find something. It might be on the... here we are. Got a dude on a horse. Let's zoom in just a little bit. So I actually do, or did, I try to do it as much as possible, but try to do as much gesture drawings as possible, and especially when it's dealing with like thumbnails. And sometimes even my storyboards look this messy. And like I said, that is totally fine. The whole point is to get you the flow and the rhythm. And the more and more that you do them, the more you'll, I guess, get into the concept and the idea, especially if you're trying to work out certain kinds of. So I'm going to use this from example. So get the spot right here. So something I struggle on is a very top-down, angled kind of view. And it definitely takes me a while to get used to the perspective and trying to do it enough to where it becomes second nature. And even then, uh, you know, trips me up. But just, doing stuff like this over and over and over again, it's going to get you into that rhythm, into that idea. And you start to get a little bit more accustomed to it. And it really helps when you try to do weakness stuff like this. Because when you look at a lot of comics, a lot of even just normal art. I mean, how many times do you often see, uh, people having conversations on like a bicycle or a horse or in a car, and making it interesting? Top-down views like this, with like a crowd full of people, and you see completely different conversations, completely different body types going on. You don't always see that very often, and I think a lot of that just has to do with, with comics. It could be anything from, stuck under a specific, uh, you know, timing constraints, so you got to cut corners, or even to the fact of the person doesn't really even know how to do it. So I mean, it's a whole spectrum of stuff, odds and ends these, but it all kind of revolves around some of the same stuff. So again, within another 10, 15 minutes, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things done. So that's, what, 25 minutes total that we've gotten about 17 gesture drawings done. And that's not bad. And it's a great start, too. So with this next one, we are just going to kind of go for the throat, basically. And while I take this quick water break, and also to interject before Alan tells me to do it, if you happen to like the show, any other show that I just happen to do, or what Hey But Comics does, please remember to like and subscribe. And now back to your main programming. So with this next one, we're basically just going to cut straight into it, and we're basically just going to be, I guess, well, since I'm wearing an X-Men t-shirt, I guess we'll just quickly gesture out an X team of some sort. Uh, you can just let your mind fill in the blanks, who might be where. But uh, this will be, absolutely perfect for us to do this. So I guess in typical X fashion, let's. I guess Wolverine's going to be front and center. Go figure, right? Okay. All right. So we got Wolverine there. Let's put. Hmm. I guess maybe Storm. Storm. Maybe Rogue. Let's put Gene over here. And sure, why not? Let's put Scott over here as well. Pew. All right. I guess we'll just throw maybe Beast. Kind of look like I kind of see some of the Haven shorts. You know, maybe. I don't know. Could be a stunt double. All right. So we've got Beast. Let's see here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have this be Rogue, and then let's have Storm over here. Going full on singing Adele. What's that song? It's in the Fire from the Rain. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Let's put Archangel back here. Probably. And we're going to have Nightcrawler just, I guess, crap. What's the Banff? Is that what it is? Banffing? Yeah. Have them coming in over here. Kutvana. Okay, so literally in 10 minutes, I basically gesture drew from memory to a degree an entire X team, which this could be used perfectly as a thumbnail. As far as like if you were wanting to do an X piece of some sort, this would be great. Just to give you that idea of how to put it all together. So there you have it. I mean, basically 30 minutes worth of gesture drawings and trying to put stuff together, using reference material to put it all together. There's a lot of different ways that, we can do this. And I'm sure we can extend this out to like another hour, but that would be basically kind of kicking a dead horse. But within this thumbnail alone, I mean, we've got so many different gestures going on that we can definitely understand exactly what's happening within the pic. Even though, in some ways, yes, it is a bunch of scribbles, but that is the whole purpose and the point. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's to get your mind and the gears, moving so they can get into these exercises and to basically get yourself out of a rut. And this stuff, even if it's, I guess, what a specific person might think is just like, it's a doodle, it's just garbage, whatever. Regardless, it works. And I can't tell you how many sketch pads since 2015, 2016 I have burned through just doing pages after pages after pages of this just to get myself in the motion of just doing the stuff to where in some ways it is second nature, but at the same time I'm also having to look up stuff just to double check my work, just to make sure that I'm not completely thinking about things the wrong way in terms of how I want a certain body to look or how I want a certain piece of armor to look or whatever, which that's just like nitty gritty detail stuff, but does not go against the whole purpose and the point of doing gesture drawings. So that being said, now now you can do this stuff whenever and whatever it is that you want, whether it's human beings, whether it's animals, whether it's even just hands. There's so many different things that you can do, and it works. And the more you do it, the more custom and that you'll be able to do it just off the drop of a hat. But doing these, warm up sketches, takes little to no time at all. Like I said, I just did 3 pages worth within 30 minutes, about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes per piece, maybe, I don't know, give or take a minute. So that being said, thank you guys so much. Now, like I said at the beginning of all this, if you completely missed out on all of that, the piece that I was working on doing the pencils yesterday with the comic cover, if you did not happen to see that, I get to show it again right here. Here it is, fully inked. There will be a version of this on social media that's going to be watermarked. And then the not watermarked high-res scan of this will be on my Patreon. And I'm also doing some sample pages of some fantasy work off of my own, which will also be uploaded onto Patreon as well at some point later this month as well. So definitely keep an eye out on all that stuff. And we're going to end the night with some housekeepings. Haven Comics, located at 1871 Slaughter Road, Suite F in Madison, Alabama, which is where you can pick up some really awesome stuff, like this Do a Powerbomb trade from the Eisner winner comic creator Dana Warren Johnson, and where you can also pick up some really cool comics, such as a Wildcats issue 26. But not this one. This is actually my copy. Sorry, guys. But you can find other comics like this, including the new Wildcat series that's been put out by DC, which is fantastic, by the way. At least so far, all the ones I've read. I have not read the newest issue yet, so no spoilers in the comments. I'm on to you guys. All right. Please remember to like and subscribe. Every like, subscribe, sharing, commenting, reacting, whatever. That helps us out immensely, not just on Facebook, but also with YouTube as far as just the algorithms. And if you just happen to like and subscribe, all the stuff that you can find me with social media at tpriceartworks. And that's where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, the place that was Twitter that's now called X. Threads, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Hive, and a slightly defunct Tumblr as well. That's what we've got. Later, tots. Yeah, I guess I will see you when I see you. Thank you guys again for coming in, for commenting. Gosh. Hand gestures, man. Hand gestures. All right. Thank you guys again, and I will see you guys next week, in which we'll be going back into more familiar territory of, picking out a specific person or persons and doing a sketch out of it, as well as talking about other things I've got in the pipeline for you guys to keep your eyes and ears out. So, till then, see you later. I hope you have a great week.